Hi, everyone. My name is Owen Marr. I'm a graduate of the University of Michigan. I was involved with SEDS from 2017 to 2021. I am now a systems engineer at Blue Origin working on New Shepard, and my first SpaceVision was at the University of Central Florida in 2017.
Hey everyone, my name is Juan de la Versa. I graduated from Rice University in 2022. I was involved with SEDS since freshman year, so that makes it 2018. I now work at Axiom Space, working on Axiom Station here in Houston, Texas. And I first got involved with SEDS in 2018, but my biggest takeaway from SEDS in college was hosting SpaceVision in 2021.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Alvarado. I graduated from the University of Central Florida in industrial engineering. And my first SpaceVision was in 2020, where I ran for treasurer unopposed and then continued to take out the competition to now I'm the executive director for SETS.
Hey everyone, my name is Anthony Razzo. I graduated from the University of Redlands in 2021. I studied physics there. Currently, I am the director of an organization called Hot Nozzle Society. We work on high-powered rocketry education for the public. And my first space vision was ASU 2019. A lot of fun.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Hurst. I graduated from the University of North Carolina in 2020. I was involved with SEDS from 2017 until 2019, including being the chair from 2018. And my first space vision was, like Owen, UCF in 2017, where I also was convinced at a beach party to run for treasurer unopposed.
Hi, my name is Ian Burrell. I am an alumni of Virginia Tech University, and I was involved with SEDS both in my local chapter and on the national board in between 2016 and 2022 when I graduated. I am currently a human systems integrator at NASA Johnson, working on the EVA and Human Service Mobility Program for Artemis. And my first space vision was 2016 at Purdue University, where our Airbnb was a haunted house, and it was very spooky.
We all know that there's tons of space conferences out there, right? Some that come to mind are SmallSat or Satellite. But when you attend these conferences, you get a lot of the same benefits where you're networking. Maybe there's a career fair. Maybe they make you feel welcome. But at SpaceVision, SEDS-USA does a really good job at making it very inclusive. And not to mention, everybody's almost the same age. You can literally nerd out about anything you want about space, and you'll find someone to get along with and just network. And then from there, you can create friendships for the rest of your life, basically. The other one, if you really are, choosing one per year, that would I would go to SpaceVision, because if you just straight up look at the cost, SEDS-USA does a really good job at making it very affordable to students, especially when almost none of these other conferences do. I would say if you have one conference to go to a year, go to SpaceVision.
What makes SpaceVision unique to me is the types of projects and students that you meet at the conference. You'll meet students building CubeSats and the ground stations that go with them, rockets, doing community outreach events, doing microgravity projects. And because of that, you get to learn about all the different ways that you can be involved in space. The companies that show up. A lot of these companies have SEDS alumni, and some of them are even founded by SEDS alumni. So you're able to see how far you can go in your career as an entrepreneur, but also how your SEDS connections can help you land a job further down the line.
To me, what was most important was that as a student who was somewhere that these resources didn't exist, seeing the plethora of options that are out there in the space industry for the first time was eye-opening. And I think everybody can stand to benefit from seeing how many different things there are to do in space. And it's not just rocketry. It's not just, GNC for satellites. It's not the mechanical engineering behind the satellites. It's the justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion work that goes on behind the scenes that makes these companies run. It's the accounting work that keeps these companies afloat. you can really see a lot of different aspects of the industry in one location. And I think that's probably the coolest thing about SpaceVision.
I think for me, the thing that is the most special about SpaceVision is that the people surrounding you right now are your peers. Many of them are the same age or similar. They are going through the exact same thing as you in your school, in your life, in your clubs. And most importantly, they are passionate about the same thing that you are. This, when combined with like a fantastic program created by the organizers of this year's SpaceVision, can foster some incredibly strong friendships and relationships that you might not get in other conferences or other situations. And these friendships can last a lifetime. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. And being with your peers and with your friends in this kind of pressure cooker situation can show you how you can get involved, show you the next step and how you can get involved in your space career. And it can be very intimidating to know how to get started in quite a formal, rigid, maybe opaque industry, but this is perhaps the best opportunity for you to look around, make friends, and gain pointers on how you might want to get started.
Because it's a conference that you're surrounded by other students, it's very unintimidating. Back when I was a student, when I would go to other larger conferences like IAC or the any of the other like small set, any of the conferences like that, it's very intimidating as a student to be networking with a lot of these older professionals, especially when it comes to places you potentially want to work at or be involved with in the future. And I think the really nice thing about SpaceVision and being surrounded by your peers is that you're much more relaxed and it's much more of a friendly environment to, chat up other students and see what kind of things that they're working on at their universities or the projects they're involved with, or, any kind of events that they do and stuff like that. And I think it's a really great way to improve your own college experience and improve your own SEDS experience at your local university or high school or wherever.
For me, SpaceVision was really pivotal in my entire career. I had started aerospace engineering at Virginia Tech, where I went to school. You choose your major your sophomore year, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I chose aerospace because I was like, this is kind of cool, but I didn't really have that passion ignited in me yet. It was just a decision I made, and I was trying to find, do I fit in this community, like in this major? Before going to my first SpaceVision, I didn't really see that click. But as soon as I went to, and it was Boston, that was my first SpaceVision. I went there. I didn't know anybody. I didn't really know anyone in my Virginia Tech SEDS chapter either. But I just found that it clicked. Like I was like part of this community. I fit in. Everyone was so friendly and welcoming. I learned so many things. I was so excited to be in the space industry. And ever since then, I feel like I've just kept moving forward. But for me, it was that community click that is so unique to SpaceVision as a conference that I haven't experienced any of the other conferences I've been to, like the sense of community that's there. If you feel lost right now, or you're just not sure with what you're doing, going to SpaceVision, you'll find that, and you'll really, not to be cheesy, but you'll find, part of yourself there too, just what you need to do for your future career and passions.
Do research on the speakers or panelists that are going to be at SpaceVision. If you go to a panel or a lecture and someone seems very interesting, or maybe they don't seem interesting, if you had done research ahead of time, maybe the person that didn't seem interesting at the panel is really cool and you want to ask them a question that has nothing to do with the panel. Stuff like that can open up so many doors, trust me.
A major key is using the SpaceVision website, Work for You, from researching the speakers, researching the companies that will be there at the career fair, what the types of skill sets and jobs they are going to be hiring for. That will all be on the website. In the Plan Your Journey page, we have the hotel discounts, we have the map, things you can do. You can create this plan for your chapter, not just for yourself. You can also apply for the competitions that are hosted during SpaceVision. These are competitions that you can earn money from, and exhibit your chapter project or research it is that you're doing.
The first question you should ask yourself, what are your goals? Like, what are you trying to accomplish out of SpaceVision? Are you trying to get a job? Are you trying to learn more about SEDS? Are you trying to meet more space people? Maybe you're like the only person in your chapter and you just want more people. Figure out what your like first priority goal objective is. And if it's getting a job, then research all the companies. If it's meeting more SEDS chapters and seeing how they do things, maybe reach out to some ahead of time if you can, and start having those discussions and start planning getting coffee or just kind of stepping away from the conference and talking outside of the panels and the speakers. So just figure out what you want to do. I think that's the hardest thing. And even as you mature in your career, when you go to conferences as a professional, you'll have to do the same thing. Like, what is your first objective?
A lot of times you're going to walk into that environment and there's not a 0% chance you're going to meet like an astronaut or a politician, somebody huge, right? So I think understanding the gravity of the situation and where it can propel you in life is super, super important. So kind of come with that mindset where it's like, all right, I'm a student, I'm here, I'm young, I get to learn from these people. Let's make something happen. So I think come in humble, but ready to learn and to thrive and to eat on those connections. It's probably going to serve you very well.
Well, if you get lucky, you might even be able to meet Sarah Alvarado, which is that might be, you have to get really lucky. There's you have to pay for her autograph. So my advice for people trying to get the most out of SpaceVision is to apply for the board of directors. You can apply to be a director on the board pretty soon before elections, but I'd recommend against this seat of your pants style of application. Really take the time to think about what kind of position you want. Make sure that you have the time and commitment to do so, because it is a commitment, but it is also, for many of us, the greatest thing we did in college and the greatest privilege we had in college. I would sincerely recommend thinking about applying to part of the board, because you don't know where it's going to take you. You are going to learn so much.
This isn't like a lecture where you're just there to learn, hand in some homework, call it a day. A conference is what you make of it. A lot of it will come down to the drive that you have and the objectives that you have and seeing those through. So if you're there to learn, go in with that mindset that you're willing to learn. Make sure you're up to date with the conference list and all the different talks and such that are going on. And if you're there to network, people aren't just gonna come up to you usually. Usually you got to make an effort to go and speak to these people, whether it be your fellow students or conference organizers or panelists, judges. You make of it what you make of it. And so definitely go in with that mindset that you're ready to be a conference attendee and things will go well.
If you are going to SpaceVision, what is dress code like at a conference? What is acceptable to wear?
Business casual is the best thing you can do for SpaceVision.
Plus what Juan said, but also white sneakers are back and I'm all for it. No more heels. And I'm here for it. So you can wear your like Air Force Ones and you're good to go. It's the European style, right? So bring those white sneaks.
So me coming from Los Angeles, the fashion capital of the world. No, I'm just kidding. For me, I think having a succinct style is very important. So I like to wear, blazers with maybe different colored pants, but I'll match it up with maybe say the polo I'm wearing right now. Shout out my board of directors. Another day I might do say jeans and a blazer and a button-up shirt underneath. I think you're going to mostly want to aim for business casual, but don't be afraid to have a little flair with it. So that way you can get noticed a little bit. Hell, you might make a connection or you might make a really cool friend, somebody that likes your style. And that's something you can bond on. And then there's another person that another person, another friend that you made at SpaceVision?
I would recommend Space Paraphernalia. The only person I remember for what they were wearing, one of the reasons, not just the only reason, was Dr. Sean Proctor's incredible space dress in ASU SpaceVision 2019. So if you have anything with a galaxy on it, or a supernova, or a nebula, or a rocket, just wear that.
I think the three things to mainly think about here is look good, feel good, play good. And this kind of applies first to the look good side of things. These are, semi-formal events, business casual events. And so it's important that, especially if you're going to be talking to job recruiters or, older people who are speaking at the conference, it's appropriate and respectful to wear, the proper attire for that. Feel good side of things. These are conferences, and so you'll likely be doing a lot of walking around in between different halls or event panels, or grabbing lunch or dinner. And so definitely when it comes to shoes, I recommend something that you're going to be able to walk around in all day and not get all blistered.
So when attending your first conferences, what are some of the pitfalls to avoid, or some of the things you wish you had done differently?
I would definitely say that one of my biggest regrets in my past conferences has been timing. I expect to spend this amount of time doing this amount of time doing that. No. 9 times out of 10, that is not how this works. Because I don't know, you may have an amazing conversation with a really good connection at the end of one thing, and look at the time, you're 20 minutes late to the next thing. You never know what could happen. So always try to, have your plan, but don't get stressed out if it doesn't work out, and have maybe plan Bs for some things that you could always go do, or another event that you can go attend. SpaceVision is jam-packed of events. I'm sure you'll find at least something.
Sometimes when you are confronted with networking, you kind of go for quantity, like, oh, I want to meet all these people, like I want to meet everybody at the conference. But I will say quality over quantity. It's better to have a couple people, or even just one person who you really just vibe with and you just really resonate with and see yourself talking to more in the future, and that you maintain contact with also. Like, it's better to have that one really strong connection than the many ones, because those smaller connections that you have in large quantity are gonna kind of go away, and you're not really gonna stay in touch with them. So just think about that as you're networking.
Although SpaceVision is definitely about celebrating your chapter and sharing its accomplishments, remember that you are also going to SpaceVision for yourself. So if you stay within your chapter and don't venture out to do your own thing, you might be missing out on some great connections, maybe not speakers, but just other students. And you might not go to the things that you really wanted to go. Sit at different tables, get ready to talk about yourself, and start socializing. Go to panels to learn something completely new. When we create the SpaceVision program, we're trying to show students all the different things that come into play when we're talking about the space industry. So if you've never met a cosmologist, go for it. We're going to have a talk on that. Or if you've never met, an astrophysicist or a sci-fi writer, think about all these different things and all the different ways to get involved into space. You might find that you're making a connection that you wouldn't have otherwise because you decided to try something new.
We've all heard of imposter syndrome. We've all kind of dealt with it, right? Like, you go see somebody's presenting a paper and it's on this super cool topic that you're absolutely interested in. You go, that's so awesome. That's so cool. I'm not doing anything like that. But you shouldn't think like that. The best thing to do to avoid that is to kind of strike up a conversation, talk about that exact thing. Who knows? They might be able to rope you in on their research project. You might be able to get in contact with the professors at another university to help you on your thesis. You never really know how these things can shake out. It all just depends on whether you can bring your truest self to that environment or not. And the best thing you can do to avoid that is just to listen, absorb, and come back with it with excitement and positivity.
Biggest pitfall that some people fall into is not taking enough time for self-care. This event can be a bit of an overload. Especially if you're not an extrovert, or even if you are, this can be a little bit overwhelming. And because it's such a limited amount of time, you might think that you don't have time to take a moment for yourself. If you're really exhausted after a long day of listening to a bunch of panels, take an hour for yourself before going off to a social. It's okay to go back to your room for half an hour just to collect your thoughts, write some notes, and just think about what you want to get out of the next few hours, few days. You are the most important person in this conference for you, and you should treat yourself with respect.
Ultimately, if you're not having fun at the conference, then why are you there? You know, this is a very lively, fun event. You're going to a new city and meeting with SED students from across the entire country and sometimes even internationally. You're not going to have opportunities like this a lot. And so it's a great time to enjoy the conference. If you have to miss a panel or two because you've made some new friends from a chapter across the country and you want to collaborate on a project, that's a really cool thing. You know, if maybe you want to go out and grab lunch or grab dinner with some of these other SEDS members you're meeting after the conference, that should definitely be something that you pursue. It's a very fun event. It's very cool to surround yourself with just this, you know, all these different people with all these different backgrounds and all these different SEDS chapters.
So looking back at this previous SpaceVisions, what would be your top tip or top piece of advice to a student that's coming to SpaceVision, maybe for the first time?
This isn't only just a group of people your age that are going into the space industry. This is a generation of the space industry, right? If you think of all of your bosses, managers at Lockheed, Boeing, whatever company you want to talk about, once upon a time, most of them were all around the same age range. Wouldn't it have been really cool if they all knew each other back when they were in college or a young professional? That's the spot that we're in right now. So make the most of it. And whoever you meet, who knows, could be the director of a really important project one day. And you could be too. And it'd be great for you guys to know each other and lead the space industry where it should go.
Figure out what programs, paneling, competitions you want to participate in. Who are the speakers that you really want to connect with? If you do that, you will be more prepared than a large percentage of other students that are coming to SpaceVision, especially if it's your first time. And think about opportunities for yourself and for your chapters that can come out of those conversations that you have with speakers or recruiters. Make sure you have on the top of your mind what are going to be your selling points or your chapter selling points, like, you know, these are the projects that we're building. These are the majors that are incorporated or make up our chapter, so that you really come off as being, you know, understanding of what they're looking for and trying to figure out if there's a good mix between the two.
This is coming from someone who attended a lot of SpaceVisions as a student and also did recruiting for a couple years. Come with a good elevator pitch, which I kind of hate that word, but basically it's who are you, what are you passionate about, and what about you stands out. Because as a recruiter, or even talking to speakers or even just your other peers, you want them to come away with one concrete thing about yourself. So just think about what you want that to be. Maybe that's like the latest project you're working on. Or maybe you really want to be an astronaut, like whatever that is, like refine it, and you're going to use it a lot. It's going to make you stand out.
That person you want to go talk to over on that side of the room, that's the CEO of whatever company, you send it. That astronaut over there, send it. Those people are there to talk to you, like you specifically. They are there to enrich your life as a space professional. It is totally up to you to take advantage of that. And the more you realize it, the more you just think, hey, I have no reason not to go talk to them. They're super cool. Why not? Why don't I share what I'm passionate about? Why don't I share, like, hey, you know what? Maybe I do want to be an astronaut someday. How did you do it? Send it on that idea that you have. Send it on talking to people. Send it on meeting people. Send it on making some of the best friends you'll ever make in your life. And I promise you, you won't regret it.
My piece of advice for getting the most out of SpaceVision is to get involved. Everyone who's worked at SEDS, from Sarah to Ian to Anthony to me, has been a student in exactly the situation you're in right now. Everyone has wondered whether they're the right person to take a position of responsibility, whether to send out an application. And everyone has looked at other people who are maybe a year or two ahead of you in their university career and wondered, how do I get to that position, and not knowing the first step. And the reality is the first step is to make the choice that you're going to put yourself out there. If you choose to put yourself out there during this conference, you have every possibility that you're going to make a life-changing decision that might change your professional and personal trajectory for the foreseeable future. But that starts with being confident in your own abilities, confident in your ability to learn on the job, and your confidence in your ability to get involved with the organizations you're already part of.
Yeah, you guys should all the good responses.
Yeah, it's tough to back clean up with this
thing.
team.
I think one of the most important tips for SpaceVision is what you do with that experience after the fact. It's really important to make those connections and then to build off those connections. You know, for a lot of times that can just be as simple as staying in touch, you know, chatting here and there. If you meet a student from another university and you stay in touch with them, you can learn a lot of really valuable things, like, you know, stuff that's working for their chapter, or projects that they're working on you can get involved with, or sources of funding, or other conferences going on throughout the year that you can attend as well and meet up with them again. Making sure that you make those connections and that you keep building off of those connections after the conference is over with.
One other piece of advice for all the foreigners watching this video: there is a world beyond ITAR. There is a world where you can still work in the space industry. You have a place here. Stay confident. You're going to find your feet, but it sucks, and I feel you.
My piece of advice for people that are attending SpaceVision is to step out of your comfort zone. It is really easy to hang out with your SEDS chapter of people you know and go to the talks, and you will learn a lot. You will learn 10 times more if you meet new people from other chapters, if you talk to the speakers, if you talk to the recruiters. It's the new people you meet and the people that you stay in touch with. If you look at the people on this call, only 2 of us went to school together. We all met through SEDS. And as Juan said, we're going to grow up in the industry together and work with each other and probably battle against each other in contracts at some point. But these folks that you meet are going to be the next leaders of the space industry. And so make sure you go out there and meet new people, because these are folks you're going to be seeing for years to come.